Welcome to Settled on the Field, a bird's eye view of the sports landscape. From Little League, travel sports, high school athletics to recruiting, NIL, and walk-ons. Join us on a rocket ship to the next level. Welcome to Settled on the Field.
Yeah, Liz. Hey, welcome to Settled on the Field, episode 1. About to pop it off live. What's up, Liz?
Can't wait. I'm excited to be here. We've been talking about this. Now we're going to be about it. What's up, Jeb?
How you guys doing? I'm just going to introduce myself and then I'll send it over to you guys to give a full introduction. So I'm J to the E. Settled on the Field has grown out of friendship. It's grown out of group text messages and the love of the underdog. I've known Billy since my freshman year at John Adams High School, class of 1990.
95, boy.
Liz, being Billy's sister, was always around, as she is 4 years our junior and has been my wife Melissa's friend since childhood. Settled on the Field is mostly about sports, with an emphasis on getting to the next level. Getting to the next level is unique to all of us. Whatever your next level might be, we hope to help get you there. I bring a plethora of sports knowledge and viewpoints. I'm currently an athletic director for grades 5 through 8, as well as the vice president of the league that our teams play in. I was also on the board of a local Cal Ripken baseball organization, doing everything from signups, web design, scheduling, coaches training, and I even talked to the umpires a little bit, as well as umpired. I've coached baseball and football. I've coached baseball and football at the high school level. I've coached my son in youth hockey for 11 years, from mini mites up to 14U travel hockey. I'm also a level 4 USA hockey coach. I've coached both of my boys' rec baseball teams and dabbled in travel baseball with our all-star teams. While in college, I organized the travel baseball and basketball tournaments with as many as 65 baseball teams in one event. Lastly, for the Settle It on the Field, I'm going to bring us the rule of the day from almost every sport you can think of. We'll discuss the unique rules in various sports with the goal of making you a better fan, sports parent, and or player. My officiating resume includes being a level 3 USA hockey official. I officiated football from Friday night high school games all the way down to Pop Warner. I was a high school baseball umpire for 17 years, starting at age 18. On top of umpiring, I was the vice president of baseball for our local officials association, leading educational classes for other officials. In 2009, the coaches voted me umpire of the year for all in Northern Indiana. That was my last year officiating because then I had kids. Lastly, I'm a 2001 graduate of the Harry Wendelstadt Umpire School. You know, enough about me.
This man knows what he's talking about.
You ready for that rule of the day?
Yep, the rule of the day. Let's hear from L to the I to the Z. Miss Liz, let's.
Thank you, Jeb. And we are going to be much smarter after talking to you because you seem to know it all. And as Jeb mentioned, this podcast really came out of daily conversations about sports. It is a lifestyle for us. And as a mom of 2 boys and a sister of 2 brothers, there has never been a time when I was not surrounded by sports and sports conversations. And growing up, Bill and Jeb and a plethora of other guys were constantly at our house discussing, watching, and playing football, baseball, soccer, even our made-up game of golf around the house. You remember that? Golf around the house?
Oh, yeah. The sand wedge.
I couldn't be beat. I don't know, but you're inevitably going to hear stories about some of our hijinks back in the day, but we are really here to give the underdog exposure. High school kids and younger want to be recognized for their abilities, and while we can't be everywhere all at once, we know there are great players out there that may be a smaller school team or may not ever win a championship at their school. We want to show you off. You know, whether it be hockey, softball, football, or even breakdancing, we have a minimum of some experience and in many instances, a lot of experience. So you can expect guest speakers that will help you along the way as well. And each week I will be bringing you a recruiting tip. So I've been working with my son for the last 4 years to play football in college. And at one point, he wanted to play football and track. So I will be sharing a lot of the knowledge I have learned and taking it back to the basics for you. So he ended up with several offers and is now set to play at the Division 1 level. All of us
What?
three, what? All of us three have a unique sports experience, and the landscape of sports is changing drastically. So some will argue for the better and some for the worse, but
I'll be arguing for the worst. Don't worry
uh,
about it. I'll tell you right now.
our opinions will vary, but we will help guide you through, even if you are just a fan of the little guy. All right. Now I'm going to throw it over to my brother, Billy Crouper, who some might say he's a little guy. Walk
Yeah.
on at Ball State University. Introduce yourself to us, Crouper.
Hey, thanks for that intro, Liz. I don't know if I'm such the little guy anymore, but I'll take it. I'm grateful to be able to do this with my sister, Liz, here, and a man I consider one of the greatest friends of all time, Jebediah, Jebber McNally. You've heard him call me Bill or Billy, LWK the third, but I've been going by Croup ever since I walked on the football team at Ball State. If you see a little helmet back there, I was back in 1997, so I'm an old timer. But after I graduated Ball State, I walked on to the Navy in 1999. I continued that progress of showing up, basically walked on to be a Navy pilot, went into the training in 2001, flew this little bird right here for a while. 2007, technically I kind of walked on to the Army and went over to Iraq as a Navy IA, as an individual augmentee, no big deal. But look, every job that I've had in the Navy was like, you move, it's 2 years, it's 3 years, you're walking on to a whole group of people that you've never seen before, you haven't dealt with before. Maybe there's one or two people from the previous, and you're walking on. You're the new guy. I even did that for my my current job right now. I'm here to tell you that you can do anything you set your mind to, and I'm living proof. You just look. There's no dumb questions, so speak up and ask your questions. You've got to
That's
show
a real
respect
hero.
before you can earn it. You've got to show some respect. And one way to do that is to have more class than your competition. For these walk-ons, I'm going to be talking about walk-on warriors. For walk-ons, you got to show up ready to go, right? But for anybody out there, if you're 5 minutes early, I'm saying you're already 5 minutes late, because that's going to guarantee that you're not going to be late. Don't ever be late. Be on time, period. I'm going to give some advice out to people. Most is going to be focused on, walk-ons. I'm going to throw in my hate for how some of these sports are changing, because I'm an old school. I like the old school way of doing it. But I'm going to share my experience as a Ball State football walk-on and a retired naval officer in an attempt to motivate walk-on warriors leading up to these upcoming seasons. And we all know right now where the college football championship is finally going to be decided on the field, right? But just think about that. This applies to your life as well. It too can be settled on the field.
Rule of the day. Blue 11, cross checking. White 4, you're holding. Red 11, slash. Roughing the passer on the defense, number 98, 15 yards and an automatic first down. Time, that's a balk. You, second base. No, that's a moving screen. White 4, moving screen. We're going the other way. Now let's get out our rule books for the settled on the field rule of the day. Books out. We're talking NFL timing. At the end of a game, the NFL, you got to know what you're doing. There's just no room for error. So if you're going to try and stop the clock, you're going to use a timeout. You're going to spike the ball. You're going to throw the ball out of bounds. We're talking about a unique play here where the runner is going towards the sidelines. If he simply runs out of bounds, stop the clock. If he runs out of bounds and decides he needs to miss a defensive player and backs out of bounds and is going backwards, that does not stop the clock.
So if I get tackled and I fall backwards, does that stop the clock? Out of bounds.
So I think what it's going to be is if the official is ruling your forward progress is stopped in the field of play, he's going to call you down in bounds. So you don't penalize the defense for making a great tackle and knocking you out of bounds backwards.
His forward progress was stopped. It looked like the runner stopped his own forward progress more than the defender, but that's okay. His forward progress did stop.
Yeah, so
It was sort of a B minus for effort.
Maybe a
he
D.
got hit so hard and he gave himself up and went out of bounds backwards. And you see the official come in immediately, signaling, run the clock, run the clock.
Winding
And
it.
the Cowboys lost 10, maybe 12 seconds because they weren't aware that he was in bounds.
Yeah, so not only was
rule,
it bad
Billy?
on the tight end, not only was it bad on the tight end, it was bad on the quarterback for not watching what's happening over there, and on the coaching staff, the people up in the booth, and they had no clue that they were wound the clock. And then what they did afterwards was another suspect situation.
How much time did they lose thinking the clock stopped? About 3 seconds, you think?
Oh no, it was more than that.
It was more?
Yeah, because I don't know, Jeb, you remember? It's like they thought they were looking to the sideline for what the next play was and all that, and they needed to get on the ball. I don't know, maybe 10 seconds.
Valuable
Then it
time
also
at the end of the
depends on
game.
the outcome of the next play too. But as far as the rule goes, I like it. You've got to know what the rule is as the runner, and don't have your forward progress stopped, especially when you're on the sideline. All you have to do is one more foot forward, dive forward, something.
I like it too. It encourages extra effort for the play, not just running out of bounds just because I need to stop the clock right here. It's the end of the game. I got to get out of bounds.
Jeb,
I think it's a good rule.
I might have a lead in for next week's rule of the day, because what if this happened to be right on the sideline, right by the end zone, and the guy happened to fumble on the 3, and it goes through the end zone and out of bounds?
You have whole different rulings.
Have to
I
talk
think
about
we all
that
know
another
what
week.
happens there.
The end zone's a whole nother part of the football field. All new rules, all in itself. So
I'm excited to learn
don't
about
fumble.
these end zone rules because those are some of the rules I
First
don't know
rule-
all those fine details.
First rule is don't fumble. I like it, Jeb.
That is a very good rule. Don't fumble.
Well, guys, that's episode 1's rule of the day. We're going to try and bring you some various rules from various sports. So that was just our first one of the year of the episode 1. And so now let's try out episode 1 recruiting tip of the week from LI to the Z.
As mentioned, I am going to be giving you some recruiting tips. And being that this is episode 1, we are going to start with the most basic recruiting tip that there is. Well, in my mind, this is pretty basic. Some of you may already know this. Hopefully, a lot of you do. And some of you maybe don't know at all because you're just getting started. You're trying to learn, where do I even begin when I want to get out there? I want to go play sports in college. Maybe you want to play softball. Maybe you want to play football. Maybe you want to run track. This is a good tip for any sport out there. You need to have social media accounts, especially a Twitter, aka X account. That might be unusual because a lot of teenagers don't really use X. You don't typically hear, you hear them talking about Instagram or TikTok, but X is the big account when it comes to recruiting. So you need to go out there, get yourself an X account. Talk to your parents before you do it. And if you are a parent, you might be considering when is the right time for me to
What
do
age,
this.
Liz? What age is it all right for my child to have their own X account?
Honestly, that is up to you as a parent, I would say. Of course, there are kids out there that are being recruited in 7th grade. So if you have some all-star child and it might be the time for him to do it right now in 7th grade or 5th grade. He's some phenom. But I would say if you are a good athlete, you want to play sports in college, and you are anywhere from freshman to senior, now would be a good time to get started with it. If you are a senior, you're probably a little behind, I would say. But if you are a junior and you don't have your X account yet, now is the time to get on it. And if you are about to be a sophomore, this is a good time to get started. Um,
When you set
so,
up that account, what are some of the basic parameters you want to follow?
very good questions. I'm going to actually share my screen. I'm going to share with you a good profile on X. So you have to set up your profile. You put some basic details in your what's called your profile. So I would say use your name. Don't use some crazy name that nobody's going to be able to recognize when they're talking to you. Um, use your own name. And for instance, here, this child who happens to be mine used his full name and his number. He put his number at the end. Um, and you just want to have your full name. If you want your handle to be maybe not your total full name, that's okay as well, but you want them to be able to find you. um, in your profile, you want to put some basic things. Your school is number one. Put the year you're going to graduate is another important detail. What position do you play? This Isaiah plays DB and wide receiver. He also runs track and field. This is important if you're wanting to be a football player. A lot of coaches say you need to run track if you're going to be a football player. He put his 40 time, his height, his weight, his SAT score, his NCAA ID number. We will come to this another day. You don't need an NCAA number until you're probably a junior, would be a good time to get that. Um, Definitely when you're a senior, you should have it. But this is not something that everybody needs, and you don't need it toward until you're about a senior. And then, of course, put your huddle profile if you have a huddle.
Let me chime in here. I see a 4.440 and an 1190 SAT for that man. That's looking pretty fresh.
He's looking pretty fresh. Now, let me add, you probably also should put your GPA in here. If you have at least a 3.0 or above, you should add your GPA into your profile. If it is lower than that, maybe leave it out. I see kids that have it in there though that are, 2.8, you're a 2.8, and then you can announce on Twitter I worked really hard and guess what? I have a 3.0 after my junior year. That's something that people do on Twitter. They announce their good grades. That's something the coaches are looking for as well. So this is a good starting point when you're starting out your recruiting journey. You want a picture of you playing the sport that you play. Picture here, he's got a picture of his team in the background. And
Go Falcons.
you just want to start off following coaches, following the teams that you might want to play for one day, following your friends that play the same sport as you, or it doesn't even have to be the same sport, but make this a sports oriented profile. You're not going to come on here and retweet the episode of, I don't even know, Jersey Shore that was on last night.
No,
I
you don't want to
even
do
know
that.
if that exists anymore. But you want to keep this pretty sports oriented. You're not going to come and no debauchery on your Twitter account. And
So see, that's why Twitter didn't even exist back in our day, because we wouldn't have known what we were doing. We didn't have wise parents giving us some wise advice as to what not to put on there. It might have been a Friday night activity. You don't want any of
I
that
am
on
thankful every day that we did not have social media back in our day. I am definitely thankful for that.
there at all.
And I think these kids, honestly, I kind of think it's keeping them in line because they know we're going to find out what's going on pretty easily. But keep the fun friend stuff to your own account. Now, a lot of times they might even ask you for your Instagram account. So there are kids out there that have separate accounts. They have their sports Instagram account, and then they have their friend Instagram account. And that's okay. Just don't go on there posting stupid stuff because they can still find that. They can still find it. And so that is just a good way to start.
I really liked how he had the picture of his team in the background, celebrating his team. And I think, making tweets about accomplishments of the team are going to be really well thought out and look good upon. But should you be on there bragging about yourself?
And this is a good question. I'm glad you asked because I do think this is something that kids struggle with because you're on a team and your coach is implementing to you. There's telling you, this is a team sport. We do things as a team. We win as a team. We lose as a team. And so my son, I know sometimes he had a hard time. He didn't want to post necessarily because he didn't want to feel like he's bragging on himself. Um, the coaches do know that this is part of recruiting, so your coach knows that you have to do that sometimes. But you should also be bragging on your friends. Like, point out when your friend has a great play in the game. The coaches see that you're a good team player. So retweet when your friend has a great game, even if it's a team. Maybe it's a team you're played against. That's okay. They like to see that stuff.
Hey, for me, this is a very relatable lesson. It's like a life lesson for those in the military. When we transition out, you'll hear a lot of people saying it's difficult to sell yourself in a job interview because you're always talking about team, 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 and we did this and our squadron did this. And people want to know, what can you do? What do you bring to the table? So at some point, you have to sell yourself. You've got to be your own best advocate. So if you don't do it while you make a touchdown, I mean, come on. That's the time to say, hey, look at me. I did it, and then also retweet when your friend does it, right?
Absolutely. And so that brings up a good point, Croup. Your military experience has brought us to our next topic of the day, which is the walk-on warriors.
All right. So, hey, look, my segment of the week is going to be Walk On Warriors. The Walk On Warriors, just from my background, I walked on to Ball State, and I've got that time in the military, some affiliation with Warriors, some time overseas. Walk On Warriors is your tribe for motivation. What we're going to do is we're going to try to bring like-minded ballers together to help motivate you, provide additional training ideas, maybe both physical and mental. We're not going to get into exactly how you should stretch or physiology do this in the gym because you should be getting that from your coach. But we're going to add some extra things on top of that. These are going to help you enable you to reach your goals, whether you're going out for a team for the first time, whether you're walking on to a D1 team, or whether you're just that guy who needs to get off the couch. Okay, this is just stop one on the ride. So let's be ready for that. I'm going to provide a walk on warrior workout of the week, and then we're also going to have those challenges of the week, which some of them will be like on the mental side, right? Get your um, resilience and grit and just ability to withstand hard
Is
times.
that going
Get
to be
that raised up a
hashtag
little bit.
wow wow? Or
That's right.
walk
So
on warriors
we're
workout
gonna
of the
seek
week?
your posts. WOWWOW hashtag wow wow. All right. We're gonna seek out your posts with that hashtag, and just remember to follow us. You'll see us posting with that hashtag on all the social sites. Follow us and stay busy doing what we're doing, and we're gonna have fun with it. I just think we all know that the recruiting trail is difficult, whether it's for moms or for that future D3 player or a D1 guy. Sometimes you get overlooked. So if you're looking to walk on or you're looking to just stay on the team or maybe you transferred, we want to outwork every 5-star out there. And the only thing that's stopping you from making it is you. If you believe, you can do it, right? Especially if I could do it. Of course, this was way back in the day, but if I could do it, so can you. And I advise you have a buddy to help you through this. Now, maybe they're not going to the gym with you. Maybe it's somebody who's part of this group. You can find like-minded folks right here at the Walk On Warriors and doing the Walk On Warrior workout of the week. So remember to follow that hashtag. Wow, wow.
I'm
Wow
excited
wow.
because I think this is going to help me get motivated too. I need some mental gymnastics. I need a little extra push to do a little extra workout each week. So I'm excited to hear what our first challenge is.
Okay, so look, this is what I did this morning, and I challenge you on the workout side, whether you're going to the gym or you have something at your house, find just the oldest worst piece of gear that's safe that you can get on. I had a stationary bike. Okay, I got on the bike. It was clicking every time my pedal came up, the right pedal, and it was annoying me. And I had to stay on the bike, fight through the little stamina, fight through the mental click, click, click. Do I get off and fix it? No. You stay on, you ride that thing until it
I
breaks.
think you might have a touch
okay?
of misophonia like me.
We have to get into misophonia on this show at some point. But that's going to be the workout of the week is find that piece of equipment where you can get some cardio in that you don't like. Okay, maybe you're like, I'm a guy, I go and I warm up walking, then I jog for 5 minutes, and then I get on the bike. Get the one that you don't like, and let's do 10 minutes. Just do 10 minutes on the one that you absolutely hate as your warm up the next time you go to the gym.
What is your least favorite workout, Jim? The bike or the treadmill?
Yeah, the Peloton bike.
He's got that bike.
Right. I would have to say my least favorite workout is probably the treadmill. I do not like the treadmill.
I agree.
But
it's too boring for me.
I'll do it.
Although, I will say, there's this new thing where you like run like you walk like you're on the catwalk to like different music. Like I got my Taylor Swift playlist and I walk like I'm on the catwalk, and that's kind of fun.
Dude, that just reminded me of that thing. There was, I don't know how long ago, somebody prancing. They're just prancing around, and that was their workout. But hey, I got on the bike. Today it was just about the equipment wasn't that great. I like the bike. I don't like the Stairmaster for the physicality of it.
That's tough.
But I will have to say that running on a treadmill is awful. I'd rather run outside in 15 degrees than running on a treadmill. So I just worry about my ankle. I don't like it. It hurts my knees more. Can't do it.
Yeah, just take me outside and let me run. I don't care how cold it is.
Yeah, outside workout always better.
So outside and cold leads us to our micro challenge of the week, which has to do with the physical and also the mental, and that's taking a cold shower. So I'm talking barely off of the lever, come up, cold shower. And since most people are going to be like, no, I'm not doing it, I'm going to give the option of start off with a normal shower and just rinse. Give yourself 10 to 20 seconds of rinsing in the cold shower. What I advise is before you take that from hot to cold, take a couple deep breaths, think about it. You turn it cold, do your normal rinsing, and feel the effects that it has on your body. And we can talk about it. And if you want to study anything, you can look into ice merging. Liz, I know you jumped into a cold lake a couple months ago. Polar plunge.
I jumped into Lake Superior in November. It was super cold, but it felt, I mean, I screamed but it got my blood pumping and it actually felt really good. And I said to myself, I really wish I lived on a lake because I would do this all the time. But I don't.
And that sounds exhilarating. Lake Superior just sounds cold even in the summer.
Yeah, it was quite cold. And I will say, how many times do you want us to do this? Just one time?
Look, the first challenges are easy. I want people to do them. So remember, the cardio equipment you don't like as your warm-up, 10 minutes. Okay, you should probably do longer than that, but just 10 on the one you don't like. And then take a cold shower. If you have to do just a cold rinse. Maybe one other time in the week, start off with the cold, and then when you can't take it, turn up the heat.
I'm down for a challenge, but man, I think I'm going to have to go with like not the freezing cold. Like I think I'm going to have to turn it cool. Just halfway
middle
cold.
of the road warm,
just
cold.
Below room temperature.
No, it'll be cold, but I can't, man, freezing cold, that just hurts.
I will tell you, look, I did this the other day just because I knew I was going to talk about it. And in the water, I was okay. It's cold. You don't like it. But when you turn it off and then you have to dry off and it's only like 15 degrees outside and your bathroom's cold already, that's where you're going to feel it. So dry off quickly.
When you get out. Okay. All right. I'm up for the challenge. I'm ready.
I'm in.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do it.
All right. Those are just some samples of our segments, right? So just make sure you stay tuned to us. LIZ, Jeb, and Croup. We're the Settled on the Field crew. Follow us, hashtag WowWow, WWOW. Stay tuned for those upcoming workouts and micro challenges. And follow us at settledonfield.com, TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe on YouTube. What do you think?
Right
I'm
on.
looking
You'll be
forward
able to
to our
find us
next
anywhere.
show. And next time we'll be talking about Division III basketball and the tournament and all the ins and outs that go along with Division III basketball, recruiting, and all those superstars out there playing Division III basketball.
D3 Hoops.
D3, let's do it.
Thank you
1,
guys.
2,
Great.
3.